Welcome to the 11th episode of the Gabriel Podcast. Today, I have a longtime friend here, lovely Matias. Just a quick opener, some notes that I have on her. I've known her ever since high school is where we met. And from that time, she is a Twitch streamer, a cosplayer, video editor, a behavioral technician, a California State Long Beach graduate with a degree in psychology, is on the TikToks, a beauty specialist, and a Japanese language wizard.
Oh my goodness.
So that is what I have in my notes. So welcome, lovely. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you. You know what's really funny? 11 is actually my lucky number.
Really?
Well, yeah, because my birthday is 11/11. So 11 has always been a special number to me, which is hilarious how things worked out.
Yes. Yeah, the 11th episode. I did not plan that, but
Yeah.
the universe has its ways, apparently.
Yeah, it does.
So yes, how are you, lovely?
Doing well. It's finally the weekend for me. I had a very long week and I'm just ready to relax, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of back. It's again we find ourselves in an early morning on a Saturday. 7:30 a.m. is
Yes.
the time for us here, Pacific Standard Time, and trying to fit two full-time people schedules leads us to this day.
Yep.
So, but we're very grateful for lovely coming on here. So, yeah. So the episode kind of came about because the other day we actually went to do a photo shoot, and I'm always fishing for a podcast episode, and I found a prime opportunity to invite lovely during that time. So that was really cool, and I had a lot of fun in that shoot.
Yeah, it was really fun. It's been a while since I've done a photo shoot, so I'm sorry if I was very scuffed.
No. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I'm no professional photographer, so I kind of go out
the
there.
picture so far. I love the picture so far.
Yes. I like to mess around a little bit with the editings, and I do have a connection with or I think it's just really cool, like the whole idea of a camera and capturing a moment. So that's something that connects with me. So I just play around with it. And it's really cool to have someone that actually wants to get the picture taken. Like I mentioned, because there's it's just a different feeling because it's like you can capture something. Because sometimes people are shy, and that's fine. It's just there's something cool as well or interesting as well to capture like an emotion like other than like shy, which is fine. And when you have your cosplay and like you're trying to
bring out the character.
that's for me that's really cool to
I do much better posing for characters than for myself because I have a persona in mind that I'm trying to like bring out, and I just feel more comfortable with that, I guess.
I see. That's cool. All right, so how about we go a little bit back in time, before I met you into elementary school, and you grew up in Long Beach like this whole time?
All my life, yes.
Okay, that's cool. And so how was your like early childhood, like your early schooling? Like was it where did you go for like those schools?
I went to Garfield Elementary School, so it's just like down the street from my house, and it was okay. I remember being such a crybaby. For some reason, I was like such a crybaby, and I don't remember much from it just because I guess I didn't really have that many good memories. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I mean, I did have some friends, but I didn't have any like with TTG. You know how with TTG, like you guys are still friends from elementary school, you know. And with
Mm-hmm.
me, there wasn't someone I could really talk to again. I guess it was a very weird element. I just didn't know how to make friends,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, all of that. It was just, but it was still a good time. I mean, I did have like acquaintances or mutuals from, but no one I could really call like a close friend, I guess, from elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a quick note: TTG is one of our friend groups that is that I've known since some of them I've known since elementary, but it's kind of like middle school, high school. Like it's just a very long term
Mm-hmm.
friend group that we have. So interesting. Growing up, do you have like a favorite subject in school?
Probably art. I've always loved the art since I was little, arts and crafts. I did not like PE. Or we would play kickball. I suck at kickball. I couldn't kick the ball. Couldn't catch the ball. Uh, I dreaded playing kickball in
Okay.
elementary school. Whenever we play with like we have like those class games and stuff. Yeah, I dreaded PE. Arts and crafts though. I really love arts and crafts.
Okay. Did you do like so you kind of just did everything like crayons and like painting kind of
Yeah,
thing?
crayons, shadings. I would draw all the time when I was little. And it's funny because I remember drawing the same thing every time. It
What
was a
was that?
house. It was a house. But I mix it up a bit. I like make it into like a little party house or just a house. I don't know. It was like the my backyard.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
interesting.
yeah. So I don't know. It was weird, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So like at least in the present day, like do you ever like or do when you imagine like having your own place, like do you think you'd be big on like home decor?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I am like I always look up like Pinterest boards and
Mm-hmm.
like look at like the different aesthetics and stuff. And I feel like I have many different types of aesthetics. Like I don't just
Ah.
specifically have one. Like you see in my room, it's like really pink right now. But I
Mm-hmm.
also really like black and grunge kind of looks too. And yeah, so sometimes they clash. So like when I imagine my future house, like with the home decor, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like every room is gonna have a different vibe because I just like many different things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Okay. So do you think there'd be at least like a sufficient amount of pink in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Pink is I know I said pink is my favorite color, but I've been really into like purple and light blue as well recently. Like
Mm.
all the pastel colors.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Very cool. So yeah, that's really cool. It's interesting to see that connection from at least that was the thing that popped into my head. So okay, so arts. Um, okay, so what about let's see, what about transition to middle school? What was that like for you?
In middle school, I went to Stevens Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
and I did have a better interaction with people at middle school. Um, in sixth grade, I was in the Plus program, and it was like it was a special program where it's with a specific class, and it's supposed to prep you for like high school and college kind of thing. And I had more friends there. But then that was also the last year they were doing the plus program. So
Mm.
after sixth grade, we had to go back to like regular classes. And in seventh and eighth grade, we yeah, I just sorry, I'm coming up with a blank here.
No problem.
Yeah, and then seventh, eighth grade, because
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the same class as like the people I'm usually with, because usually you're in the same class, like every class is the same class in the program. But
Mm.
because you move back to regular classes, I didn't get to see them as much anymore.
Oh wow.
But this is actually where I joined the YMCA Youth Institute, an after school program at Stevens Middle School, and that's where I actually met a lot of cool people and a lot of cool friends. And the summer program, they actually paid you like $300 to do it.
Really?
Yeah, so that was like the big thing, you know. I was like, okay, I want to get paid. So I think I joined the summer before 7th grade, I believe. And this was the program where you make a movie, you make a article page, you also go camping, all in that summer. So I learned how to use iMovie, I learned how to use a camera, I learned how to use Photoshop. And this is where like my social skills really like developed in this program, and I met a really like a lot of cool friends in this program. So yeah. And this is like, I guess this is where like I realized, wow, I really love, I guess, in being in the creative aspect, like just creating something, you know, like it felt really fun. It was just really fun, and I get to meet all these like amazing people in the program.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool. So what was it, do you think, about like about the types of people that attended that event, or do you think it's just like the fact that people um had like a common goal in that event, so that it cultivated like an environment that's more suitable for like making like friendships?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think that everybody came into this event with different goals, because
Mhm.
obviously money was like a big factor to some people, like, oh, money, $300, sign me up, you know. Or other people are like, oh, you had to make a movie, that's cool, I want to try making a movie. But like at the end of the program, it's like it became so much more than that, because during the first 1 or 2 weeks, you go on a week-long wilderness retreat, and this is where we actually do bonding and icebreakers and like be one with the wilderness kind of thing. And like just being out in the woods, you you tend to like rely on each other more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of like, oh my god, this camp was so fun, I missed it so much. Like there was just group bonding activities, there was a 8-hour hike, like it was a long hike, we hiked the whole day, but it was amazing. This was at Kings Canyon, so it's like up north somewhere. And we also did like a scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us a compass and a map, or like a compass and like steps, and we're supposed to like take X many steps at this direction at this degree or something, and we're supposed to
Right.
look for a symbol, and we're supposed to jot down that symbol, and pretty much we're out there alone. But really, we're the alumni and like the staff are like hiding out in the woods, making sure we're all right.
Right.
Yeah, so that was really fun, because you were just with the group you were with is actually the movie team group. So this is where you like really like bond with them and like go out in the woods and look for these symbols kind of thing. So yeah, and this camp like really like brought us together, and then to like really prep us to like work together for the rest of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How would you rate, because it seems like that event, like it was a pretty happy, like at least a positive memory.
For the most part.
How,
There were some bonding like games that were very difficult, but because they were prepping us
mm-hmm.
for like, there was this game called the Devil Maze.
Uh-huh.
Do you know, there was another game similar to it, but you have like square papers on the ground, and you have to figure out the pathway to exit to the other side. So if you step on the wrong square, then you have to start all over again. So you have to memorize the path every time someone is on that, on that maze.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah. So during that game, it was so hard because you have like the staff screaming at you and stuff. Like they were being really, really harsh on us and
Right.
like screaming, and like we were all stressed because we are like trying to figure out the pathway. And but they said they were just prepping us for like whenever there's like stressful situations, to just like, I guess they were just prepping us for like stressful situations, or like yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I
That is so interesting because a recent person recently told me a similar story
mhm.
about a camp that she went to, and there was this, and she was explaining that there was this one where they were blindfolded, and they had this rope, and so they were, you know, I think they were in the woods, and then they were kind of like holding onto the rope and kind of moving forward, kind of progressing forward, but I think I think it was something like along the way there are people that are shouting negative things at you. Like, no, you can't do this, like you're going the wrong way or something. And I think and they were saying something like the purpose of that is like there's going to be like in life you're going to be met with all these voices like trying to like tell you like you're not good enough or like
Mm.
you're not going to make it or you're going the wrong way, but the whole point trying to create doubt in you, and I guess the whole purpose of the exercise was like to just keep like moving forward like despite all of these like outside influence. So I
Yep.
thought that was a really interesting like exercise. I've never
Yeah.
heard that before.
Yeah. We do the same thing every summer program, unless you're like an alumni, like the higher status. Um, so that was the one thing I was not looking forward to every year, every summer. Yeah, but
Okay.
the reason behind it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so then how about the decision to go to poly? How was that decision making?
I remember my top three high schools. First was Poly, and then Milliken, and then Cabrillo. Well, I had to put Cabrillo because it's my home school.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Poly because I just wanted a new environment. I I just knew that everyone at or most of the people at Stevens, they were going to Cabrillo, and I felt like I needed like a refresher, like just something new, something new. And the reason why I went to Stevens was because everybody in my Garfield class they were planning to go to Stevens. So by the time I was like in 8th grade, I wanted like just a new fresh start at Poly. And one of the main reason I chose Poly as like the new fresh start is because they had Japanese classes I really wanted to take. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think poly definitely had to be like one of like not many schools offer Japanese, right? At least in the high school.
Yeah, I don't think it's just Poly, or maybe that changed since then.
Hmm.
But I remember it was just Poly.
Yeah, like definitely not every high school did not
Not
have.
every high school. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just remember like I don't know why language was such a game changer for me, but it was just like I want to take Japanese. Like I could have like went to another high school and take Spanish for 2 years, but I really wanted to take Japanese, and I'm glad I did though, because it was like a really good experience. And I don't know, just learning about language and culture to me, it's just seems so interesting. So I guess language was just a big part of my decision, and I'm glad I went to Poly.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
was
how was your poly experience?
it was it was great. It was so I guess a little funny story. I don't know if you remember having this letter, but there was like a letter or like for taking pre-Japanese classes in the summer before you got to high school. I don't know if you ever received that or you remember something like that, but I did that.
Yeah, I don't think I signed up for Japanese until I got to poly.
Until you call it poly.
Yeah.
So I took the Japanese classes in the summer. I'm such an overachiever. So I learned like all the basics before taking Japanese 1. But what was funny about it is that that's where I met Camille and Kirsten. They were both in my classes, and they're both of them are really good friends of mine. Specifically, Camille. We took the Japanese class together, and I find out that she was in the YMCA Youth Institute for high school, and I was in the middle school one that year because I decided to stay during 8th grade summer.
Got it.
But she was there for the high school one, which was hilarious because again, that's where we like really bonded, and like we bonded over like the program and like talking about our experiences and stuff. And you know, she's still like a close friend right now. Yeah, so it's been like a decade, more than a decade that we've been friends. So yeah, so then we started having classes together first year of high school, and we just started getting close from then. I remember my first 2 years of high school, we both would visit the YMCA because it's like down the street on Atlantic, just like straight down. They probably like, I think they moved locations already, but back then it was just down. It was a walk from Poly, and we would go after school. And I also joined the high school summer program, and then Camille was there too, obviously, because she was gonna be an alumni. So yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. You took Japanese for 4 years, all 4 years, right?
Yes, all 4 years.
Yes, you're definitely one of like the top people, at least.
I don't know about that. I have this is what I have done a lot of extracurriculars with Japanese. Like I did the Japan Bowl, like for the 2 years. We went to DC.
Yes.
But I was the least. How do I say this? I was. How do I put this where I'm not putting myself down? But I definitely Irain and David, they were on the team with me, in the Japan Bowl team. They are definitely smarter than me. They like I'm not the smartest one in the group.
She's being humble. She's part of the like the top, the cream of the crop people that went to this this Japanese language competition, and I mean they studied a lot. Like I was in that class, like I was taking Japanese all 4 years as well, and I mean the amount of like of vocab and I'm sure bunpo grammar that these guys had to learn was insane. It's insane. Like these guys are amazing. So, and Lovely definitely was really, just really like, worked hard, and then also just like really took it in. Like, I feel like she, like she said, she applied that knowledge to these competitions, and she did well. She did amazing. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was very passionate about it. So
yeah. I'm curious who taught that like pre high school like class.
I think it was like a separate thing. Like it was like a third party summer program.
Interesting.
It would happen like every Sunday, and it was actually near my house, so it was just like down the street.
That's so
but
cool.
There were a few poly people in there. I don't know if they were all poly people, but there were a few in there that were going to poly. But yeah, we also like learn like culture and stuff in there. We learn how to make rice balls, like onigiris and stuff. So
the one question I didn't ask is what was the interest behind Japanese that got you so interested?
This is gonna sound like so nerdy, but at first, it was because that's around the time I started like really getting into watching anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, you know, listen to anime without the subtitles, you know. But then once I actually took the classes, like I learned more about the culture and like just the language and everything. I just fell more in love with not just like the pop culture itself, but just like traditional culture and like everything, and just seeing videos and vlogs about Japan. I just really wanted to go. And
Yeah, I can completely relate with the reason why. I mean, I that's exactly the same reason why I took Japanese, for my interest in anime. But definitely the culture, I mean, Japan is just a beautiful place.
mm-hmm.
You
It
know,
just became much more than that once you like take the classes.
right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. It was yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, Japanese. And then you mentioned, let's see what else. Um, hmm. Okay, and then the cosplaying didn't come in until college, or was that like this time period as well?
Not until early college. Not until early college. Yeah.
Okay.
Cosplaying doesn't come until early college. I mean, I think I dressed up like, no, yeah, it was definitely college.
Okay, so before that period, so during high school, what was like who was lovely in high school? Like in terms of like where, like how would you have described yourself in high school? Like your aspirations, or just where were you?
Like at that time, I was
Mm-hmm.
really into movie making, editing, picture editing, like Photoshop and stuff. I was that was my whole first 2 years of high school. I was like, I want to be a film major kind
Mm.
of thing. And during the last year I attended for the YMCA Youth Institute, it was I became a tech tutor and a camp leader. And that year we invited a bunch of other high schools into our camp. So I went to, because there were so many high schools that were attending, and I was an alumni at that time and the camp leader, I had to go. Did I go for? I had to go for 2 weeks. I
Mm-hmm.
had to go for 2 weeks. Some people had to go for three. For me, I was like, 2 weeks is enough for me. I'll do it for 2 weeks. And so I became a camp leader, and just like interacting with like a bunch of different people and seeing how much like I inspired them. It was such a great feeling, you know? And I remember getting a letter from like one of the kiddos. I mean, they're not kiddos, they're the same, like around the same age as me. But they like gave me a letter before the camp ended. It was so sweet. Like it was just like making that change in someone else's life. It's like amazing to me. And so yeah, I that was like my last year I attended. And then I believe my third and fourth year of high school, that's where I started getting into dancing.
Mm.
And I attended a dance summer camp called Pack Camp. It's run by Pack Modern at Cal State Long Beach, from Cal State Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And because my sister, she did it the year before, and I was like, this looks pretty fun. So I did both the winter and summer Pack Camp. And oh my gosh, this is where I fell in love with dancing and stuff. And I didn't know how much I loved it until I tried it out. And as you can see, my interests are like everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of creative endeavors.
Yeah. So I joined Pat Camp, and I saw my sister and I saw auditions for like a competitive dance team, hip
Mm.
hop dance team called M3, and we auditioned for it and I got in, and the rest of this history. I I just became just competitive dancer for the rest of high school, and we went to dance competitions. And I think that was the reason why I stopped going to the YMCA, was because I was at that time I was like really focused on dance. Yeah.
I
And
see.
then I stopped dancing and I stopped being on a team in college because, you know, college stuff. It's gonna, yeah, the people and the team, they changed my life as well.
Okay, that's really cool. Dancing. That's cool. So like, did that? Just say. So how is like so performing was so was that kind of like your first time like on stage like in front of people experience kind of thing? Or I know that you did kind of like the leadership stuff in YMCA. So you were in front of people, but I guess not on the stage
Not on
before.
stage, correct. I mean, in the YMCA, like at the end of the program, we have like this huge like movie showing where we show all of our movies in the screen. But that's technically not me being on stage, but me seeing my face, you know, on the big screen. It's just like, that's me, all right. But was that I believe the Pack Camp program. I believe that was my first time doing like being on stage, performing on stage. No, I lied. In elementary, I did choir and violin.
Okay.
So, but So yeah, I did do it in elementary school, but I guess it's been just a while since I performed on stage again. When I did it in high school.
Right. So were you like comfortable, like kind of like with the light kind of being on you, like by that time?
Yeah, I was. I felt comfortable. I felt like I belonged there. I love performing on stage. I feel like I'm alive when I'm on like performing on stage. It's just so fun. Like of course I get those like I get nervous before going on stage, but once you get on and once you get off, it's just an experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, because I mean, I was maybe I am still petrified of like stages. I mean, I had like stage fright for like forever. I mean, like I did have that similar. Even though the fear was the dominant feeling, I definitely like on stage. You definitely feel that alive when you're talking. Like, I definitely you do feel that. There's like the adrenaline of like that. There's something worthy to see here. I don't know, like because I did play violin, like just like elementary school violin, and then yeah, like but that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, because the whole stage thing, like for me, like in front of the camera, I was I was never like that. So then doing this whole like, well, doing the podcast and then also doing like these stories just kind of help desensitize my my anxiety for being in front of the camera. But that's interesting. Interesting. So, huh? Interesting. So was there anything else in your life that kind of compared to the experience of what it's like to be a performer? Do you think, or do you think, being not just a dance performer, but just like, what you do on Twitch and what you do with like the cosplays, like, and is there anything that would like, do you think that would like beat that feeling? Like, I know, I'm just relating things like when that kid sent you that letter, that was also another powerful event. It's something that was meaningful, and I think both are meaningful. But do you think that there's anything else that you've come across so far?
No, those two were like stage, like being on stage performing and making a difference in someone's life. Like those two events were like very meaningful to me. It really shaped to like what I do today. I so after leaving my competitive team in college, there was a Filipino culture night that I wanted to join, and So I my first year I did tinikling, which is
Mm-hmm.
a Filipino dance where you dance in between like two sticks hitting each other. And because I left my competitive team to focus on college, which is funny because I decided to join PCN, Filipino Culture Night, where I was gonna work again, like practice for performing again. Um, I was just like, wow, I really do love being on stage. Like, it was just amazing. It was, and then I wanted, I did it for the other years in college, and during that time in college, I also joined a cosplay idol group where we dance at conventions. If you guys don't know, I'm in the Aquarius, and we are a Love Live cosplay idol group, and we do dance cover, makes music videos, and I guess that group like it really mixed in all my interests like dancing, cosplaying, and I also did a few video editing, and then we took pictures, and we went to like different conventions. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. It is a combination of many things. Of like that. The anime interest as well. Japanese, I'm sure, is in there. Um, so that's really cool. That you were able to find that and kind of like participate in that because
Mm-hmm.
it does align with a lot of things that you're interested in. For me, like whenever I see you guys, like whenever I see your videos and stories, like you guys dancing, I'm like, wow. Like for me at least, it's like I'm like, I just think you guys just like are amazing. Because it's like for me, like I was like always kind of like a generally shy and stage fright kind of person, and so when I see you guys like going up there and you guys are so passionate about the things that you do, the dances that you guys do, like I think that's really cool to be able to like do that and then also like share that with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Share your passion and because as a viewer of that content, like you know, it just makes me really happy to see other people um enjoying their passions and you know I think it's really cool that they're able to share that because
Mm-hmm.
it's an important story to kind of get out there and yeah, so you guys are amazing
Thank you.
in what you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah, we love what we do. We do practices. Well, they do because everybody most of the members they live like down near like San Diego.
Oh wow.
So me and my other friend we live up here, and once a month we go down to practice. But it's been a while since we performed. The last time we performed was January of last year,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like our peak. That was our peak as an idol group.
Mm-hmm.
We we did two performances back to back weekends. We also did a competition at ALA,
Mm-hmm.
Anime Los Angeles, and we won. We were in the master division, and we won runner up for
Wow.
performance. Yeah, so that was like our peak. That was the peak of our career,
Mm-hmm.
and and then the pandemic happened, and then it just went downhill. But it's okay. I mean,
Wow. Are
but
you
yeah,
guys ever like looking to go back maybe?
we want to.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go back. We of course we all miss performing. We did a social distance like dance cover, and where we all filmed the dance
Mm-hmm.
individually, and then I was actually the one that edited it and did it. And I had to like put them all. Yeah, I just edited the video, and because it was like a social distance cover, I had to
Mm-hmm.
like put people into columns on the screen, and that took a long time because the rendering killed my computer, but it was all worth it because it came out really, really, really cute.
That's really cool. Yeah, you mentioned your computer isn't exactly um to that level heavy processing
Nope.
power.
Nope, not at all.
But yeah.
Not at all. It hates me whenever I edit, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
So then okay, so there's a couple things. Okay, so then you were in kind of like the college era, and then during this time you were also studying psychology for the degree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what was the I guess reasoning for that psychology? Where did this come from?
So I took AP psychology my senior year in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I just found it super interesting. Like I took it because Camille, she said, "Oh, I'm gonna take it." I was like, "Oh, I'll try it out too,"
Mm-hmm.
and I actually fell in love with the concept and just learning about people. And I think one of the biggest like reason I did psychology was
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to inspire people and make a change in someone's life, just like how I did as a camp leader in my early years of high school. And I guess that was like one of the reasons. I mean, I did go into college as an AP bio major. I was very interested in like brain and brain activity, and I was gonna do like a bio major, psych minor kind of thing. But my first year or first semester, it was the first semester, I switched out. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I that second semester of college, I was like, okay, I'm a psych major. I'm gonna be a psych major, like full on psych major. So yeah, I switched my major during. I didn't even survive a full year as a bio major. I was like that first semester. I was like, that's it. I can't do this. I can't study all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since like the only thing that was interesting to me was like the brain. Um, I everything else about like bio didn't really interest me. So I went to psych,
Mm-hmm.
and
And did you do?
I enjoyed it a lot more. A lot more. Mhm.
Okay, that's interesting. And then um so like by the end of like towards the end of like the degree for psychology, like did your um I guess did your views on psychology change? Was it the same kind of interest when you first came in, or was it like an altered viewpoint of some sort at the end about psychology?
It was interesting. I remember taking social psychology, and
Mm-hmm.
just everything about people was just so interesting to me. And then I knew I wanted to work with children, so I took child development, and yeah, it was just, I guess, an eye opener. Um, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It was just, other than it was just very interesting to me to learn like about people and behavior, and I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but I
Right.
just enjoyed it.
Interesting. Interesting. So, um, okay. So then after you graduated, and you said you did want to work with kids. So then I know that you've become recently a behavioral technician,
Hmm.
and can you explain a little bit on what behavioral technicians do?
Yes. So behavior technicians, pretty much we're doing ABA. ABA is applied behavior analysis, and the company I'm working for, where we go to clients' houses, we help the family. Um, Pretty much we're analyzing the behavior and seeing what we could do to replace the challenging behavior with a more socially accepted behavior kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for example, let's say the child is tugging at mom, and that they want to replace that behavior with like tapping the shoulder instead. So it's like replacing that behavior, but it's also more than just that. It's like there's a lot of discrete trial training where we just teach them behavior, I guess. Example, we there could be a child who is nonverbal, so we were gonna try to find ways for the child to express like what he wants or they want. So usually children, they cry when they want something, right? They cry, they whine, they might swipe at people, and they, how do I explain this? So when you grow older, usually you learn words, like you learn how to talk, but because the child is nonverbal, they're just gonna cry to get what they want. And that is something that is a challenging behavior, and we want to teach them how to other ways to get mom's attention or dad's attention or like get what they want. So like I notice some behavioral technicians for nonverbal clients, they do like more if they want more of something, or open, like try to teach them how to do like open, or if they want Jews, like the J, like sign language stuff, and like all done, or like tapping the shoulder, or like pointing at something when they want something. It's like stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so definitely I can definitely see it's what behavioral technicians do are super important because it helps these kids I'm sure socially help them to kind of just get better outcomes for themselves ultimately because they are surrounded with other people and learning how to interact in a way that is beneficial for both parties. I'm sure is gonna help them and I'm sure help their parents and also just everyone around them.
Yeah, I know the parents, they're very grateful for what I do. They're just, it's really fun. It could be fun, and then it could also be mentally draining because you have to like stay that very energetic and happy mood around the kids, and you just have to make it fun for them because you don't want to make lessons boring,
Yeah.
And you want to try to, whatever you try to teach them something, you want to like implement the play into it, and you want to make it fun. Like, for example, you want to like reward them if they're doing something good. Like, I have to pay attention to what they like. I have to see what they like, what they're going for, what they're playing with at that moment, and I use that to my advantage. So if I see them playing with a book, they're reading a book, they're going towards the book, right? I take the book and I'm like, high five, and they high five me. Good job. There you go. And then they get the book. So they know, like, if they do what I'm asking them, they get a reward. Like, it's like positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
And you just want to reinforce the good behavior. So like I really have to like pay attention to like what they like to play with, so I could use that to my advantage.
Definitely. It's so interesting because at least I was reading a book about habits, about habit formations, and there's always the kind of triangle where it's like you have a cue or like a trigger, and then you have the behavior, and then you have the reward. So once like, and then over time that's how our habits form, and that's also why it's really hard for us to like change our habits, because a lot of that is like subconscious after a certain point, but what you guys do is like that new habit formation, introducing that trigger, defining the behavior, and then also giving that reward so that it is that positive reinforcement.
Correct. It's kind of hard to find the balance between play and
Mm-hmm.
like um perform like doing your goals, right?
Right.
And usually with new clients, BTs, they have to build that relationship with them first. So you have to play with them first. No demands, just play. So
Mm-hmm.
they, because are you gonna are you gonna listen to someone you don't know? You know,
Right.
like all of a sudden they're placing demands on you, and it's like, well, I don't even know you. So when you get a new client, you have to like build that rapport with them and just play with them and have them get used to you. And then after that, you work on goals. Like you just like slowly introduce them to like goals,
Right.
um, while also implementing play. And I guess that's where, for me, it's where the transition between from going from play to like implementing all the goals I need to do is like where it's a little hard because it's like they're so used. I'm so we're both used to like just playing with each other, you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like finding a good balance where they don't feel like I'm placing too much demands or I'm placing too many demands on them, where I lose that rapport with them,
Right.
you know, because like if I place too many demands, then my relationship with them might go down, kind of thing. So I really need to find like that nice balance where like I'm like, I guess I just, you know, just slowly introduce it to them and then build up from there.
That is hilarious. My mind just made a connection
Mm.
between like your between your like rational mind and then also like your um kind of like your subconscious self, so like your inner dialogue, you know, when you were just describing your interaction with like your client, but then my mind was like that's kind of like like the way that you like the self talk, like when you're talking to yourself, because it's like all those things that you just mentioned applies when you're like trying to get yourself to like do something, because like you like not like me, like I guess I'm talking about me. You know, if I it's that balance between like play and that balance and work,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the demand, you know, if I tell myself to like work too much, then you know just that, it's like almost like it's like this idea of like, you know, like the analogy that you're like the writer and like this elephant for some reason. There's this analogy where like your subconscious is like the elephant and then your rational mind is like the rider on top, and the rider can't exactly like control the elephant. It can only like it has to work with it, kind of thing.
Mm.
And that's like how I found to kind of like work with myself. You can't just like consistently demand like work from yourself. You have to like you have to work with yourself, like
Yeah.
negotiate in a weird
Mm-hmm.
way with yourself.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
so interesting. So you have this behavioral technician thing going on, and then at the same time you started this whole Twitch streaming kind of adventure. So how's that been?
It's good. I honestly didn't see myself streaming. Like, I don't know. I never saw myself streaming, never in my life. And for some reason, it's really fun. Trying to figure out how I started. I think earlier this year, or no, maybe like a little late last year,
Mm-hmm.
I started watching streamers. Um, Usually I watch like YouTube videos of their like reel or clips, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I usually don't, for some reason, I before I didn't like watching like the whole thing. I just want to watch like the interesting parts, like highlights, I guess,
Yeah.
which is why I always like watch um just YouTube clips. But last year I started playing a lot of Animal Crossing,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this Animal Crossing streamer, YouTube streamer, that I was watching a lot of, a lot. There was like two of them, and I was like, oh, this looks so fun. They're like just building their island, they're just chilling. But I was like, maybe that's probably not for me though. And then I started watching other streamers because John. my boyfriend, he told me about GTA V RP, like an RP server, and I was watching. What was I watching? I was watching, I think, Saikuno. I was watching Saikuno,
Mm-hmm.
and then Valkyrie, and then Fuslie. Like that whole like crew. I think it's because on TikTok I saw a lot of their clips. And I was like, these people seem really interesting. I gotta watch one of their streams. So I started watching them, and I just saw how much fun they were having. It just seems like they're having fun and they're like playing games with friends. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to have like, I guess you could say I just realized this because I haven't performed in at least a year,
Mm-hmm.
that streaming kind of feels like performing in a way,
Yeah.
like because I'm putting myself out there, people are watching me do something, and I guess that's what I was craving for this past year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I don't it's so weird. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I just realized that maybe I was just missing performing, and I thought streaming was a good way to like get back into it in a way
Mm-hmm.
where I'm just playing games and people watch me, and I'm like talking to them, and what a realization.
That's what happens
I
here on the Gabriel Podcast.
What a realization. Yeah. And I also wanted to start streaming because I wanted to just get myself out there to play games with my friends. I have really bad gaming anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, like I which is weird because I used to play League a lot in high school. Like I didn't care. I just played League for fun. I played with friends. I played with I game with like strangers and stuff. And I don't know. And then I just started developing this anxiety where I'm scared to play with my friends because I suck. Like I was scared to like be really bad, and I stopped playing competitive games because I didn't want to be in a team with people who are gonna like be mean to me. I have a very fragile heart. Like yeah, I was just like scared of that. And then I know like during game nights with like friend groups, they're like asking me to play games, or like I see they're playing something and I want to, and I can't bring myself to play with them for some reason. It's really weird, but I started streaming so I could like, I guess, have fun with it. Like force myself to like play games with friends.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm streaming this day and I'm thinking of playing this game. You want to play this game with me, kind of thing, And
yeah.
So yeah, that's what. So I've been playing a lot of games with friends recently, like a little bit more than I used to.
How do you feel the gaming anxiety has been? Like, do you think it's a decrease a bit, or
It definitely decreased.
okay?
It definitely decreased. But I still can't bring myself to play competitive games because unless it's like a full squad, a full team with people I know, I can't bring myself to play with strangers. Just because there's a lot of like I've seen I want to play Valorant, right? I really want to try it out, but I have seen TikTok clips of people being very, very, very rude to girls,
right?
And or just like people being mean to like people in general, And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Like I do not want to be in a team with randos because I'm just scared of like them like trash talking me. And I'm like the kind of person, if someone says something mean, I confront them about it, but then I cry about it afterwards.
Right.
But yeah.
And I think that's completely reasonable because like because I mean, like, the way that I view feelings, like they just happen. Like you don't control feelings, like because the
Mhm.
feelings. So the thing with my on feelings, like feelings just happen. The thing that you can control is like the behaviors, is your behavior, right? So like, I can feel mad.
Mhm.
It's just I but that doesn't give me the right to like, you know, like go off on somebody,
Correct.
like it's
Mhm.
like, yes, like the feeling of mad is like indicating that yes, a certain value of yours was like crossed, like a something
Mhm.
like was violated. So it's like, it's an indication like yes, like you should think about it, like yes, it's like something happened here is like the point of
Mhm.
like the emotion. But that the you should not, like, you're still responsible for like, your actions, um and so yeah, like I that whole, like, that's really brave actually, like the whole confronting, and then also like, letting your body like feel the emotion, because is important as well for like proper um emotion like regulation, because
Mhm.
you know yeah, so that's really interesting, that's really
Yeah,
interesting.
I just hate having people have their way if they don't like. I remember these other two times. I'm sorry, I'm
Hmm.
gonna backtrack a bit, but
Hmm.
in high school, um, I was riding the bus home, and these kids in the back, they were throwing like spitball at this other kid, like right in front
Hmm.
of me. And I was just like, I screamed at them. I was like, are you guys kidding me? You guys have to stop. That's not funny at all. And they stopped, you know? Or there's this other time where I was also on the bus and these kids in the back, they were telling the they were screaming like, you drive too slow, bus driver. Go any faster. Oh my gosh. And I went to the front and I was like telling the bus driver, don't listen to them. You're driving just fine. And then the kids in the back were like, she's telling you you drive slow. And I was like, no, I'm not. You guys are being rude. Like, I just had this, like, I just, like, if I see something, I'm going to say something, you know?
Hmm.
I can't, you can't just, like, I do my best not to be a bystander,
Hmm.
you know? If I see something, I'm going to say something. Like, bystander effect is, I mean, it happens with all of us. I mean, I do have my times, like, situations where I do become a bystander, but I try my best
Right.
not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that most definitely, it's brave during the times that, you are able to like say something when um that doesn't align with your values, because my thing is like, if you live a life best aligned to your values, then and then just you're more likely to be in a positive mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're living an inauthentic or ingenuine life, it's just like you're gonna be coming across a lot of situations where your subconscious is like not agreeing with you, and you're gonna be in a lot of inner conflict, and you don't know why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do what you do, if you speak up about when you see like, perceived wrongs, and you do something about it, that's it's brave, and you don't have to, we're human ultimately,
Yeah.
and it's like we do our best, and no one's gonna take fault when, like, you aren't able to do it every time, because
Mm-hmm.
we're not robots, we're people that are trying their best to
Mm-hmm.
like just live a life that is according to their values.
Yeah, exactly. And like most of the time, if you do speak up about it, most of the
Hmm.
time they're not expecting people to say anything, you know. And then they're like, when someone says something, it's like they stop
Oh yeah,
because it's like, oh, someone actually told me that this doesn't happen before, you know.
exactly, and it ultimately should start, a discussion about like what really is going on, and like, sometimes, like you said, like people just kind of like say stuff without thinking about it, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just like they don't know, they don't know about the consequences of their words and their actions, and given some time to reflect, they might actually um disagree with their own behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah.
and so
That's what
that's
I hope.
important. Yeah,
That's what I hope for.
yeah. So interesting, Lily. So interesting. Okay, so we talked about Twitch streaming a little bit, the cosplay.
Yeah, we kind of went off topic with the streaming, but
No,
sorry.
no, yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. I love that was a great segue because it shows there's that phrase that you know I think it's something like societies fall when like was it like when good men like say nothing or something like that. It's like where basically like like hinting on that bystander effect where it's like we all kind of like agree on like some certain like values of like maybe respect or you know I guess a collective agreement of like what is okay and what is not. And I mean that's always going to be an eternal argument, like an eternal debate. But it's important that when we do see something that's wrong, to speak up. And I mean that takes a lot of courage. That's really cool. Yeah, so interesting. So where do you want to see like this whole psychology thing play out? Do you think that you're gonna kind of progress with that or take it somewhere else or do you...
Right now, this is my first time doing ABA,
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to feel it out for now. I knew I wanted to work with children, and just trying to see how I like it right now. I'm just getting used to it, so because I just started, and right now it's really mentally draining. But I'm gonna push through, and like once I get uh used to it more, hopefully I feel much more better about it. So yeah, I'm just trying to see how I like it. I might take the BCAT, um, but I'm gonna see if this is something for me. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if this is something for me.
Interesting.
In an ideal world, I'd be a content creator. In
Right, right.
an ideal
Because
world.
yeah, because everything I've everything I've heard so far, everything is alignment with the arts and performing and teaching. I definitely like a teaching aspect to that. So, you know, if you can somehow combine those things like you did at the with your cosplay group, definitely I'm sure that's going to be important, for you.
Yeah.
But I mean that's like, of course that's easier
It
said than
doesn't
done.
yeah. It doesn't happen to everyone. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen to everyone. But if ever comes to the point, I that would be the dream, honestly. But for
Yeah.
now, it will be a hobby.
I mean, you're making the right moves. It looks like with the Twitch stuff, and you're putting your expertise with the video editing in there with your content creation on TikTok, Twitch. You don't have a YouTube yet, do you?
I do have a YouTube.
YouTube? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I haven't posted on it in a
Okay.
long time. But that's where I usually put my dance covers or vlogs if I ever do make vlogs.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So definitely like, with the start of the whole Twitch streaming, yeah, you definitely have that um like you definitely have that important characteristic of um of leadership. I feel like definitely in you it's like you have this gentle leadership vibe to yourself, and I think that's something that people will gravitate towards, and you're passionate and you're genuine.
That's hilarious because you described my Myers-Briggs results.
Exa-
that's that's my yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely, I see it just from this, from our conversation today that you're definitely, a spirit or soul that attracts other individuals. You definitely like empower other individuals just by the life that you like lead.
Hmm.
Like genuinity is really important to me, like as a value. And just because like when I see a person like being truth to themselves and like um and just trying their absolute best to move forward in life like that, you know that's what I hope for other people. And when I see an example of that in life, like yourself and what you do, not only does it inspire me, I'm sure it inspires like everyone else, and it's like a cascading effect. Like if you aim to be the best version of yourself, not only will that help yourself, but then also everyone around you. But then not only that, everyone that watches you because you decide to share your story. And so your effect is just multiplied, by the amount of just how far you can get, your story out there. So yeah, definitely. I really hope that, you know, you find a path that is in alignment with you, that can, support you, and also like, you know, something you're passionate about, so that you can sustain it for years, and along the way, like inspire like thousands of people along the way.
Well, thank you, Gabriel.
100%. Like this is amazing. Like this conversation was amazing, just because I got to witness a bit of good out there in the universe with your story.
Aw.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not, it's definitely, I'm sure, not been easy to get all those experiences along the way. I'm sure you've had plenty of hardships, plenty
Mhm.
of of the unfairness and tragedies of like life. But despite all that, and despite all the future instances of that, like, your soul is able to just kind of similar to that blindfold exercise, to kind of
Yeah.
keep moving forward, despite all of that. I mean, that is just courageous and brave, and you know just the most amazing thing that I can at least witness
Mhm.
in another human being.
Well, thank you for listening to my story. Like, it's just there was a lot of things that really shaped to be- like be who I am today, and it's really nice talking about it. Like, and then realizing other things. Like, there's so many factors that came into play in my life that made me me.
Most
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Like that's kind of like what I kind of hope that people kind of experience, like on like their short time here on the podcast. Like
Mm.
I a lot of people don't have that. You don't really come across a lot of instances where it's like, okay, like go all the way back and tell me about your
Mhm.
story, to define your story, because we live our life kind of like day to day a lot of the times,
Mhm.
and we don't define like our story. Like we don't say it out into the world, and what we find is that we realize a lot of things when we put our story out there, just
Yeah, most
because.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm happy that you got something out of the episode.
I did. I really appreciate you listening to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure for me. I like I said, like I get to touch a little bit of the good in the universe through these conversations. Um, but yeah, yeah. So it's around the time that we do wrap up. I hope that I definitely can get a follow up. And also just future episodes. Because the cool thing about these podcasts is like, I always think of these like first first kind of episodes, like just as a little like timestamp. Like this is like who
Mm,
Lovely, you know, this is who her being was like at this particular date, and like
I like that.
yeah, and sometime in the future, like it's just like I always there's so many things that changes throughout the day and
Mhm,
like the week, and there's so much, and so like I'm sure the next time you're able to speak, like there's plenty that we didn't touch. There's plenty that there will be to talk about,
mhm.
and I look forward to the next episode that we can sit
Look
down and
forward to
talk.
it too.
Yeah. So yeah, where can the viewers find you, Lovely? Do you have any socials that you wanna shout out there?
Sure. So, oh gosh, I have a lot. So, my Instagram is lovelies underscore cos. I'm sure Gabriel will post all the links somewhere. And then my TikTok is also lovelies underscore cos. My my Twitch is lovelies underscore. My YouTube is lovelies. And yeah. And then in either of those profiles you'll see a link that has all that connects to all of my other socials on there. So yeah,
Very
there we
cool. Yeah,
go.
definitely go subscribe to her, guys, wherever her socials are. She's really cool. I'm sure she's gonna develop a big following because of everything that we've discussed. Like I said, she's an amazing
We'll see.
person, and you know, I'm sure that people will gravitate to her naturally. So, so yes, thank you so much, Lovely, for joining me in this Saturday morning.
Thank
Um,
you.
it was a pleasure. And I hope that everything goes well with you, and that I look forward to our next meeting.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Lovely. All right, that will wrap up our 11th episode of the Gabriel Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well today as well, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.